Hello friends, this is Terry from Genkigamingtv. Before we get into the review, I would like to tell you to please go support me at Twitch TV, where I do collabs with friends and other content creators where we play a range of games between Pokemon style monster collecting games to things like Rocket League, Smite, and single player games like Bloodstained or Mario or Legend of Zelda. I play a variety of games over on Twitch. If you would kindly support me there by giving me a follow, I'd be much appreciative. Now let's dive into the episode review, brought to you by Austin, or Stark Industries, whatever you feel like calling Austin. But thank you for the Daily Motion episode. I still prefer the torrent because the torrent runs a little smoother. Today's episode is basically a walking talking reference to Frozen. This episode is actually called Annan and the Ice Queen, a sad and rare story of the universe. Or, Annan to kori no jo kanashiku ke na sora yu no monogatari. This episode was just something. I don't know why there's a Frozen reference, but there's a Frozen reference. Haruhiko has a weird issue where either there's a scene where they chose to leave one of his eyes off, or they're playing off the fact that there's a lens flare in the background during the early part of this episode, where we are introduced to the story of Elsa. Not Elsa, Elsa. We see a book with your typical magical girl cover with a star and a moon with ice. We scene transition to YSP Squad, where Junpei is talking about dollar bills, yo. No one pay him unless he has a job. Fubuki makes little strawberry balls as a treat for the YSP club. Everyone eats those except for Junpei, and of course Momo poop bombs the scene, and of course Momo's poop is also pink. Junpei uses Ultra Instinct while the rest of them look seriously at both pink balls. Junpei ends up eating crap, which is no surprise to any of us that consider Junpei to not be the best at making decisions like this. Luckily, Blue Moon / Earthwalker allows Junpei to gain some intelligence points. Scene transition to Kuka in Mataro. UR Watch is back. Momonga Lady is referenced. UR Watch is very heavy. Scene transition back to Haruhiko. Double scene transition into Elsa, aka Frozen. We should probably let this all go. But Elsa, who is your typical ice queen, fights in battle with her troops. They take down a bunch of little aliens, and then through a group team attack, they take down one of the larger winged aliens. Anna, heals Elsa. Man, guys, I need to just let this go because I'm gonna make tons of really bad Frozen references. Annan has some of my favorite character design that has been presented in the series up to date. I really like the backpack. I like the darker colors that contrast really well with this Frozen world. Scene transition to Elsa's courtroom, where she's talking to her advisors about what's going on, basically saying alien threat is a thing. Transition to tea time, because tea time is the most important time of the day. The tea time room is fairly detailed well for a scene that's not really utilized for a prolonged period of time. There's a lot going on in the back of the scene. Little blue crystals, the larger green crystal chunks, some crystal vials. Even the furniture they're sitting on is fairly detailed. There's some plant life in the room, and Ozera is jelly of Annan for healing Elsa. Okay, Ozera's like, I wish I could touch my queen's hand like Annan's doing. I wish I was the healer and not just a silly plot device character. The books in the background are really detailed. Ozera basically explains that Ozera needs Annan's help in order to do some stuff and to scout, quote unquote. Ozera is actually evil, but Annan purges the evil out of Ozera with the power of support skills, aka cleansing. We then sequence into a flashback. Guys, I think I'm at the point where I can only say flashback one more time before my brain will explode. The series has had entirely way too many flashbacks, but this one is cute, so it's staying. But I swear, Ronto is not allowed another flashback. Neither is Kuka. Someone take their flashback privileges. But seeing small Elza, Annan, and Ozera is really nice. Just because it gives us a little bit of a reference to how tightly knit this group is. Annan sacrifices Annan's self in order to protect Elza and Ozera by going into Super Robo Ice General. That's what I'm calling it. It's a Gundam, but it's not a Gundam. It shoots a laser beam up at Mizero's face in the sky, destroying it, causing Mizero's Super Robo whatever this is to show up. But Annan is correctly foddered. But here's the thing that I do not understand, guys. Annan's body is crystallized in ice, right? Right. Annan's body hits the ground and we see crystal dust, right? Right. But we don't see Annan's body cracking and breaking, and I do not hear a ice breaking noise other than the robot breaking. So, I'm not saying Annan is alive, but I'm also not saying Annan is dead, even though I presume Annan is just going to be crystallized like that forever. But side note, thought of mine gone. Let's transition to Mizera, who is ready to kick butt and destroy friendships, because your relationship with Ozera is now over, Elza, because Mizera just lasered him through the chest. Like, your friendship with him is over now. Because, skippity scoppity, you are now my pawn, aka my property. Mizera now converts Elza into Elza Mecha, and we lead into the end of the episode. Basically, Elza with a fleet of alien saucers floating above the planet, YSP Club present, Student Council referenced and shown in a shot, Kuka and Science Club reference, Super Duper Emma team also referenced, Emma, Usuke, Natsuke, and Father Principal shown. And we're getting ready for a very serious episode that will likely be undermined when Junpei eats the yellow snow. I'm kidding, Junpei has more intelligence than that, right? Right? I'm doubting it. This episode was pretty interesting. It wasn't like a perfect episode or anything like that, but what hurts the series so much is doing flashbacks and building these perceived relationships just to have the characters be killed or become irrelevant. I'm saying that about this situation and the T9 situation. I feel like the flashback was put in there to rush T9's character development, because they realized, oh crap, we did not think about actually giving Motaro his power up soon enough, so we're gonna rush a little bit of this. Because with 4 episodes left, they are totally not going to be able to flesh out the T9 situation or the Titus situation at hand. They don't have enough time to do that. And the only reason I know there's 4 episodes left is because Denise posted about it on Twitter. I don't know how true that is, but I take her word as pretty valuable, because she is smart and does look ahead a bit, and I respect that. I'm not watching the preview to the next episode because I don't want to be spoiled yet. Overall, this one is worth watching. You can either watch the torrent or the Daily Motion video brought to you by Stark Industries. I appreciate your support. Have yourselves a fantastic morning, afternoon, and or evening. I am out of here. Bye-bye.